We're going.
We are again.
All right. So tonight, this Q&A. Yeah, whenever you're watching. I've messed it up already. Look. So this Q&A with Dylan McNeice is brought to you by WikiWiki and Sports Barista.
Coffee to conquer.
Awesome. That's the cheesy, awkward bit out of the way. So Dylan, thanks for joining us all the way from New Zealand, where he's just told me it's winter.
Yeah.
Hence the coat. So yeah. So Dylan, thanks for joining us. Your story is pretty cool. I remember watching you on Breakfast with Bob. It's like our favourite hobby. And your kind of introduction into Ironman and that racing is pretty cool, because you were going to give up. Is that right? You're going to give up the sport, and your first iron distance race was actually supposed to be your last one?
Yeah. Firstly, hey guys, and thanks for having me. My first full distance race was Challenge Wanaka in 2013. And I'd just finished university the year before. I'd kind of had a good go at triathlon and studied while I was also racing and sort of training overseas. And things weren't exactly going as great as I thought they maybe could have in triathlon. So, I thought, well, I've always trained and loved being down in Wanaka because I don't live too far from there. And I thought, well, hey, if I'm going to do one full distance, then it may as well be Wanaka. And I seriously thought that it would be my first and last up until, I was running down that finish chute and somehow managed to win it. So I guess the rest is history.
That's amazing. That's such a cool story. And then obviously from that, then you just carried on.
Yeah. I kind of had in the back of my mind, hey, if I win, which I never, like I said, never really thought was going to happen. Macca was there, so I figured Macca would just win easily. But I said, hey, if I win, then I'll have a crack and carry on. And I guess I just figured that the long distance stuff actually suited me better, and the training suited me, and I just couldn't find that out until I actually got into it. So I had a really good run for a few years, managed to win Wanaka for 3 years in a row, and then 2 more wins in Challenge Taiwan, and managed to get another win in Challenge Taiwan a couple of years ago. The last couple of years have actually been a bit up and down, couple of surgeries. So you might not know, but I actually decided to retire in March. So I guess I got my timing pretty right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
With COVID and everything. But my journey was awesome. I loved it. Always kind of wanted to be a professional athlete. So just to have been able to do it, I'm pretty happy with how things went.
Definitely. And obviously with the retirement, is it kind of full, that's it, or will you still come back in a sort of commentary, still be involved in the sport, coaching maybe?
I still want to definitely race. No need to earn my beers, so I want to keep the training up and keep enjoying racing. But I still coach a few people. I enjoy trying to help people as well. Commentary, I don't know if I've got a voice for commentary, so I just have to wait and see. But I'm also I've been on the board of the Professional Triathletes Organisation since inception, probably in 2015. And then so I've actually taken on a more official role with them. So I'm kind of the liaison between the board and our commercial team. So I just try and always put the athletes' ideas first and pass them on to the commercial team, and then vice versa. So, and deal with athletes every day. So I'm pretty lucky to have fallen into that role.
And obviously, I guess that you're in a unique position where athletes probably respect you quite a lot because of what you've done in the sport yourself. So that's probably quite a nice way to stay involved.
Yeah, hopefully. At least to know a lot of them, and I admire a lot of them. So it's easy to kind of work hard I admire them all, So it's easy to work hard when that's the case. And I hope that my role actually does get passed on to more athletes in the future. So that'd be something quite cool.
Awesome.
Definitely.
So Lauren's going to hit you with some questions.
Yeah. So first of all, world's gone a bit crazy. So where have you spent lockdown?
So I'm in Christchurch in New Zealand, in the South Island, the much better of the two islands. And yeah, been here the whole time. We're super lucky here in New Zealand. We managed to get sort of rid of COVID pretty well, I guess. It has actually had a little resurgence up in Auckland, but we seem to be managing things pretty well. But down in the south, as I said, the better island, we're actually pretty free to roam and do what we like. So I live by a forest, so when we were in complete lockdown, we were still allowed to exercise sort of around our local area. So I was able to get out sort of every day and just do some good exercise. So yeah, sorry to say, guys, but it hasn't been too bad for me here over COVID.
And are you still training at a similar kind of volume to what you were before?
No, absolutely not. I'm trying to do one thing a day. I think that's a good balance. Still trying to figure out the whole I can't eat everything I want anymore thing. So it's been a slow process, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's good.
Kind of leads. Well, you kind of taken the next question. It was how are you maintaining your fitness, but kind of answered that. Sorry,
Lauren.
Well, my answer would be I'm not. I'm definitely getting unfit, I guess. It's weird. I still kind of feel like I should be fit, but I'm not. And so I'm just trying to find that new balance, I guess.
Because one of the things that is really interesting, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to speak to you is that a lot of the athletes that we coach are age group athletes, so they're holding down full-time jobs, families, a lot of commitments, and a lot of the pros that we've spoken to are obviously free to kind of do their training. That's their full-time job. So it's really interesting that you've now come from that sort of having the flexibility to kind of train and do all the stuff that you need to do to welcome to kind of like normal life almost. So has that been quite a challenge? Like you found that quite difficult?
Definitely. Like I've always admired age groupers with family and jobs and just the work ethic and workload they can get through. You know, as a coach as well, I see that all the time and it amazes me. I'm definitely not at that level yet. I'm a bit still in the pro triathlete mindset. And I'm still trying to find the enjoyment, I guess, in doing it as not because I have to or because it's my job, but because I want to, which I find a little bit hard. I don't necessarily enjoy exercise. I just find it satisfying. So for me, it's always having to get out the door. Whereas I think if you enjoy it, you can get out the door quite easily. So I'm not at the level of some of those age groupers. Like I say, I just admire their work ethic and workload.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's nice.
It's nice to hear.
Nice, yeah, definitely.
The struggle, the struggle now.
It is real. It is very real. Yeah. And throughout your career, what would you say was your favourite race and why?
We know the answer.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be Challenge Wanaka, of course, but I raced IRONMAN Wales last year and absolutely loved it. I actually did another podcast maybe a couple months ago, Road to Tenby podcast. Honestly, Wales just blew me away. It was just, when I got to that race, I just, I had been struggling kind of with a few sort of injuries and stuff, and I was a bit sort of down. But when I got to Wales, I was just instantly feeling, ready to go and just excited about racing. And the atmosphere there and the race course is just amazing. So if I had to pick one outside of Wanaka, it's definitely IRONMAN Wales.
Yeah, it's brutal though. It's like absolutely brutal. Like I remember going to the triathlon show in London, and there's a rep there to try and get people signing up for it. And he said, "It's an amazing race. It's beautiful. Let me show you some photos." And literally every photo of the bike course, it was people like grimacing, trying to go up these massive hills. So I thought, no, I'll stick to a flat course, I think, for this year. Yeah. But I remember seeing a video of you just absolutely steaming it through the swim. So how did you find the swim? Because Wales is notorious for like jellyfish and just not being very nice.
Yeah, I think I maybe hit or saw a couple of jellyfish. Definitely saw them, you know, in the days prior, either on the beach or even out swimming. I really enjoyed the swim there. The first lap, you know, the pros are going first, so there's no one sort of in the way. But on the second lap, you're kind of weaving in and out of age groupers, and to me, that just took my mind off what I was doing, and it just made it quite fun, just trying to dodge people and not drown anyone or anything. So, yeah, like I say, every part of that race I just loved, and I like the fact that it's brutal, because Wanaka is also similar to that, just very hilly and hard and windy and stuff. So, yeah, Wales just stands out. It's one I'll definitely try and go and do as an age grouper one day, I hope.
Yeah.
You can just never guarantee the weather in Wales,
Nah.
though.
Well, you can guarantee it's going to be nasty at some point.
Yeah,
definitely. And the challenge Wanaka, that's now 70.3, isn't it? Because we were talking to Laura Siddle, and she said no, it's not going to go back to a full. So is it quite nice to know that you nailed that one like 3 times, and now no one can kind of take you away?
Yeah. So it's a half distance now, which is a shame, but it's just one of those hard races that people kind of did once, and then they were like, well, that's enough. So they never got the entries to completely sustain it. But in the other end of the scale, the half distance race is really popular and goes really well, and it's kind of a family event / just lots of teams and stuff. But yeah, Dougal Allen, another Kiwi, had actually won 2 in a row, and then they cancelled the full, so I was quite happy about that.
That's it, done.
Match will beat me, so I'd love to see the full and Wanaka come back, but it might be a wee while before that happens.
Yeah. See, fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. And if you had to pick a favourite kind of go-to training session, we'll kind of do as a kind of pre-match and now.
Yeah.
What would you pick?
Pre-match.
So yeah, we can kind of go pro and age grouper.
Long run, definitely for me. When you're fit and no sort of niggles, injuries, we got some really cool hills into the mountains around Christchurch. And there's this one run I must have done hundreds of times that goes out around a headland, around our harbour and our beaches, and all off-road. Just so for me, a long run is probably pinnacle. It's actually one of those sessions that when I was pro, I didn't mind going and doing. Like I look forward to it. Now I guess the long run as well, but now that I'm not so fit, it's not as fun. But I think, to be honest, mountain biking. So a good mountain bike is what I probably aim for the most these days.
Yeah, if you live near a forest in New Zealand, like, I think I'd probably like that a lot. Yeah, we haven't really got that. You'd
be scared of all the spiders and stuff, though.
Yeah, but there isn't spiders or snakes in New Zealand, is there? No, that's Australia. No.
We're harmless.
I'd be all right in New Zealand. I'd be all right. It's Australia that's creepy, and USA, like the outback and stuff. No, but New Zealand will be fun.
Just for the record, our forest is not actually that good for mountain biking. So it's flat and it's quite boring. So I always go up into the hills when I can. And same as the long run I do, it's just off, it's good trails. It's quite technical. So you're kind of always thinking, and there's always that risk there, which I guess makes it a little bit more enjoyable when you through it. I would crash 50% of the time. So that kind of keeps the heart beating, I guess.
Especially from mountains and stuff as well, hills and true.
Rather you than me, I think.
Yes.
And if you had to give one piece of advice for someone looking to move from the 70.3 to the full distance, what would it be?
Definitely don't think you then go and train twice as much. I'd say that the training is very similar. It's more how you train. You might do a little bit longer of a longer run and a little bit longer of a longer ride, but I think most other things are pretty similar. I'd just say you have to nail your nutrition. It's as simple as that. Pacing is relatively easy, I think. It's just if you can't fuel, you can't continue to go. So and I would say in general, you probably have to eat more than you think. So eat more than you think.
Were you someone that was just gel based? Were you fluid based? Was it a mixture? What was your kind of strategy?
I kind of went through the motions through my career. I tried different things. I'm always trying to find that little extra gain, I guess. I was definitely probably majority gels worked for me, and then a few, maybe a bar or two on the bike, and maybe some. I was sponsored by Cliff Bar, so I had some Cliff blocks for the run.
Yeah.
But
what flavour?
I like tropical, black cherry. Yeah, but they have a flavour that you can't get in New Zealand, salted watermelon, which is just.
What?
Never heard of that one before.
No. See, I'm like the mountain berry. That's my standard.
Yeah.
And and sometimes if I'm really treating myself, I might chop up some Cliff Bar and have a shot block and a bit of Cliff Bar. So it's like mixture, you know.
A great idea.
There you go. See there. I'm just telling Dylan. There you go. But yeah.
I might try.
You'd have to give it a go now. When you're on your mountain bike, give it a go and see what you think.
Either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
No, I think I'll love it. It's like just like a bar with some gooey goodness in it. So can't be.
But the thing is, I was finding the Cliff Bar, which is going round and round and round because when you eat them when you're not training, so just like a post session recovery, they're just great to eat. But I was finding on the bike, I was like, wow, this is just taking ages. So there's a bit of both. And, it was good.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's when I know I'm racing hard, when I can treat myself to that.
And who would you say, it can kind of be as you're racing now, kind of growing up, getting into triathlon, who has inspired and motivated you?
Cool.
So I guess to go way back to the beginning, 2004, the Olympics, Hamish Carter and Bevan Doherty, first and second in Athens. That's what got me into triathlon. And then I was lucky enough to get to train with Bevan over quite a few years. And so he definitely inspired me. He definitely showed me kind of the work ethic that was required and the consistency. So I guess he was definitely a big influence and someone I looked up to. But for me, also, I just look at performances, and like Jan's performance last year in Kona just blew me away, and that, those kind of things inspire me probably more than any individual person, I guess.
Yeah. See, for me, I don't know. I've never really known about you. Well, yours was probably me. Watching me race inspired you, didn't it? But see, for me, it was what, 2012 when the Brownlees kind of were sandwiched in between Gomez, and that was pretty cool. But
I agree. Like watching someone like Alistair race, when he just goes full tit, that's kind of what inspires me. So, but then I could say the same for, say, Daniela, or I remember watching a little bit of Annie Haag at was it Copenhagen last year when she was just flying through the run, and it's those moments that I remember, not always the people. I remember who it was, but and even Lionel and Harry races, Sebi Kienler, always just throws it all out there. So I enjoy watching that, and that's what sort of keeps me going.
And obviously, Jan just looks beautiful when he runs, doesn't he? Like, he's just got something, it's pretty special.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah. To be fair, it was watching you race.
Yeah, and thinking you could do it better.
I was like, give that a go.
In the pouring rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said, well, your words were, I've looked at all the people doing triathlon and I reckon I can do better than most of them. So it was like, all right. And you did. To be
Done
fair,
all right.
it's
Done all
one of
right.
those annoying people that's just good at it, aren't you?
You
Any
need
more?
goals, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
And then last one, and it's probably quite a good one to ask at this moment in your life, because you've come out of triathlon. So, well, first of all, what would you have been if you weren't a triathlete, and kind of what, I know we've kind of touched a bit at what you're doing now, but what direction are you planning on heading in, kind of going forwards?
Yeah.
I would love to have been an astronaut or a fighter pilot or something, but that probably wasn't going to happen. We don't really have many of them in New Zealand. We don't even have fighter aircraft, so that would have been a quick brick wall. But probably quite boring, and I would have said maybe real estate or banking. I've always been interested in those kind of transactions, and I'm actually doing my investment sort of course at the moment, so that I can be an advisor for anything from mortgages to investments and insurance. So
yeah. Is
honestly,
that a continuation from university, Dylan?
So I did business at university, but I specialised in marketing. So it kind of is a continuation. But honestly, when I looked at it, at the job, it's something that you can work for yourself here in New Zealand and be quite flexible. And I needed that coming from professional triathlon. So, but at the moment, you know, my focus is on the PTO stuff, but it won't last forever. And like I say, I hope my role gets passed on to someone else. And when that happens, then hopefully I'll have a backup to go to.
Cool.
Definitely.
Well, so that's all your questions, isn't it? So
right.
I've got one for you. So we had a question from Challenge Daytona, and they wanted me to ask you who's going to win.
Obviously,
So,
if it goes ahead.
Yes, this is hypothetical, obviously, because at the moment it doesn't look like many people are getting, apart from the Americans, perhaps. But let's say that COVID goes away for a couple of weeks and everyone can fly out. What do you think? Who's going to win?
Well, I think on the girls, I mean, Daniela has probably got a few scores to settle from Kona last year, so I reckon she would be pretty hard to beat. On the guys, I know Lionel just really, 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 really wants to beat Jan. So I'd love to see an absolute battle there. But hey, if you've got the likes of Gustav Eden and Christian Blumenfeld racing, and Brownlee as well, of course, and Lionel being as hungry as he is, it could be an absolute ripper. But it could be a three-way sprint between Jan, Christian, and Gustav. I think they're the guys that have the legs to run, say 1:0 something crazy. But hey, I'm just going to throw Jan out there because he's stalwart. He's a pretty special athlete, so I'd love to see him take the win.
We see the interesting thing. Me and Loren were talking about this. So obviously we're in Norwich, and that's Joe Skippertown. Now he's been working pretty hard on the bike, and when we spoke to Laura, she said that, you know, the way they're trying to set up, it will kind of favour someone that can put some power down on the bike. And he's been training pretty hard. I mean, 12-hour time trial. Yeah. He's been up in the Alps training, so he's moved up. I think he's 5th now, isn't he, on the rankings? Do you think he's got a good chance?
I've raced there a couple of times. He will definitely storm that bike ride because he can just set down some really consistent power. I'd love to see what his time is around the track. It's just whether he's got the run speed, and when you've got those ITU background boys there, that makes it pretty tough. And he'd have to have a pretty good lead off the bike. I think Joe's strength is Ironman. Like, he's he's just crazy. He just races he's such a good rider that he can ride quite controlled and get off and just run hard. And that's pretty cool to watch and a pretty good situation to be in. So maybe maybe the first PTO long for full distance race we have, then he could
maybe
be a challenger.
So Jan and Daniel, that's your picks. I see you going
Yeah,
for.
boring.
Yeah, basically number one in each of the rankings at the moment. That's what you've gone for.
Yeah, and they are number one for a reason. So
yeah, this is true. Cool.
We can't have the ITU people coming and beating the long distance people too often.
This is it, isn't it? That's the thing. Is you got to protect it. You know, it's good. Cool, man. Well, that is all my questions.
Yep.
Is that all your questions? Then it's been a pleasure to speak to you. Sorry for getting the times mixed up. I thought we were talking tomorrow, but you know,
It's
Netflix
Thank
will
you.
have to wait. Cool. It's been a pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Thank you
Good
so
luck with all
much.
the stuff you're doing. And if you need any help getting used to being an age grouper, give us a shout.
That sounds good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Cool.
it. Been
Cheers,
fun.
Dylan. Take care.